Hey all, Stalky Boy here, and today I wanted to have a fun conversation with everyone on what we all want to see from Evil Dead the game. It's been out for a month now, and with the Castle of Kandar right around the corner, I thought it would be fun to talk about what we'd like to see from the future content. I've put a list together of the top 5 things I'd like to see in the future of this game, but right before we get into it, if you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing, leaving a like to tell me you'd like to see more videos like this, and of course, comment what you would like to see the most in Evil Dead the game. At the bottom of my list, I have simply guest characters. Not a ton of people know this, but Evil Dead has had crossovers before. The two biggest examples being Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Jason is one of my personal favorite slashers ever, and seeing him go toe-to-toe against Ash in this game would be an amazing sight to see. Not just looping around windows, but actually having the two of them really duke it out. I know my fellow Evil Dead fans aren't super fond of the idea of guest characters, and let me clarify, Evil Dead content should take priority over guest content, but I also really want to see this game thrive, and guest characters really add a lot of new players. It also offers more variety. It would be hilarious to see Tommy Jarvis stomp a demon's face in, "Come on, maggot head!" while calling them a maggot head. The complete opposite of my number 5, once all the big name demons are added, I would love the developers to go absolutely wild and create their own unique demons. The Necronomicon is full of demons we have never seen before, which means the possibilities of demons that can be added are limitless. They could add some sort of vampire demon, absolute monstrosities, really just whatever they want. It'd be really fun to see what unique designs they could come up with. I often hear from people that aren't familiar with the Evil Dead franchise say the Evil Dead franchise not being able to come up with original characters will be its downfall, when really the Necronomicon allows for the complete opposite. To some extent, there's even more freedom than Dead by Daylight has. DBD tries to keep most of their killers coming from the earthly realm, while Evil Dead can open the gates to anything that resides in hell. Not to say DBD can't do some of this stuff, but they do usually go for killers that were once people. I could absolutely flood this list with characters I want to see from Evil Dead. To avoid the list not just being a character list, which is definitely something I could do in the future, I will just mention the character I want the most. I really want to see Brock Williams. If you aren't familiar with the Evil Dead franchise, this would be Ash's dad. I find this character to be an absolute riot. I would love to hear all the dialogue this character would create. While we're at it, this won't take its very own spot on the list, but it definitely could. I'd like to see the survivors be able to interact with each other. They don't really conversate with each other, and I think that's something that would be really cool to see changed. Hearing Ash talking with Pablo, Cheryl, and his past selves would be fun to see. And El Jefe terribly reassuring an ED1 Ash that it only gets worse and worse would be amazing. The map I want to see the most isn't really one particular location. Elk Grove would be up there with a particular area, but I just want a map with a really big supermarket. The world famous S-Mart. I know we have little shopping areas within the game, but I just want a map with a really big supermarket. I just think visually it would really stand out. Put it in a more city-like area and bam, different change of scenery versus like the normal sort of woodsy kind of environment. Another thing that could be different but not super different, which could be like an easier map to add, if Jason were added, you could put in a Camp Crystal Lake. Really, maps in general that really change up how the game looks to just give more variety and life to the game is what I want to see. Bonus points if the different maps have different bosses as well, like the big plant guy from Evil Dead 2. The high school would be another awesome addition they could add, especially if they got the mascot demon to come with it. Seeing this thing on the battlefield would stand out a lot. Probably the most requested piece of content the community wants, and I am no exception. I want to see a Horde mode. I want a mode in which you can just blow some steam with some friends and see how many waves of Deadites you can survive. The tricky part of this mode is finding a way, if there is a good way, to fit the demon player into there. If it was purely a survivor mode, demon players would feel left out. But I think the whole purpose of the mode should to just be to absolutely obliterate Deadites. Having a player control these Deadites might take some of that away. For one, if the player's super extremely powerful and they're just blowing away all the Deadites, I can't really see how much fun that would be for the Deadite player. But if you make the Deadites very strong, then it might be very frustrating as the players if you're just looking to blow some steam. So that's a tricky problem to kind of dance around. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but my small brain can't think of how. At this point, the list has become a top 8 list. But there's a lot I want to see from this game, and it's my list, so I'ma do it. What I want to see the most from the game is to see the single-player missions expanded upon. I really hope they don't give up on this mode, because I think there's a ton of potential, even if they don't add cinematics. If they were to add more story to these and some proper checkpoints, they could have something very special here. There are 2 things I want to see the most from these missions. One of them being a proper Army of Darkness Battle of Kandar Castle recreated. To be able to follow the movie and take on the Army of Darkness would be super sick. Seeing a plethora of skeletons in the foggy distance, getting closer with the sounds of their instruments getting louder and louder sends chills down my spine. And the thing I would like to see the most would be a sort of campaign continuing the story of the show, going into a sort of season 4. This will never happen, but this is what I would like to see the most from this game mode. And if they didn't want to add cinematics, they could kind of go like the RPG route, and you could just kind of talk to characters. Like you can have like you could have Arthur in the Battle of Kandar actually like move on with his own. Eventually you could get reinforcements from Henry the Red, and the characters would actually talk to you, like to kind of continue the plot. Maybe there would be like a text box or whatever, which the voice actor actually reads out, and you can you could skip through it if you really want to, but that way there wouldn't really need to be actual in-game cinematics. And they could also just have sort of cutscene-ish moments like the Henry the Red flying in, but it could all be done within the in-game models and the sort. Like just have them all riding in on horses or whatever. I guess they don't really have horses programmed in at the moment, so that could be kind of difficult. So I guess you could just have a whole bunch of Henry and his men just freaking charging in. So that could be really cool to see. Just anything to basically have a single player narrative mode of some kind would be awesome. Anyways, that was my list. If you made it this far, please consider dropping a like, subscribing for more content like this, and if you'd like to support me even more, consider signing up to my Patreon. Comment what you would like to see from Evil Dead the game, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.